Now, if you've been a fan of this channel, you've been watching for a little while, you know that I absolutely love Captain Marvel. In fact, I love Captain Marvel so much that I've built a shed in my backyard to honor her. In particular, Brie Larson, the actress that plays Captain Marvel, is one of the big reasons I'm a huge fan of said Captain Marvel. But now it would appear that Marvel is choosing to disgrace her after working painstakingly to convince all of us that she was in fact the most powerful Avenger. Let me give you a brief overview. If we go back to March 11th, Marvel themselves released an infographic why Captain Marvel is the most powerful hero in the MCU. Walt Hickey delivers a breakdown of Carol Danvers' super power set compared to the rest of the Avengers. So we can look at Avengers skills, how do they stack up? We look at Black Panther, Iron Man, Captain Marvel. Now, Hulk has more durability than any other Avenger on the block. Doctor Strange's energy manipulation is second to none. Captain America has forgotten more about tactics and strategy than most people, anyone else in the mansion, has ever known. Iron Man, despite his many flaws, is a smart cookie. Few people have raced or tried to outbench Thor and lived to tell the tale. Hawkeye's got his thing. Don't be rude. But what makes Captain Marvel so captivating is that she's all around strong. She can endure a nuke and duke that energy out in turn. She's served at every level of the military, from trainee to commander of the combined Earth defenses. She's quicker than the speed of sound, sharp as attack, and can lift 100 tons. In fact, if you remember, she also is capable of stealing a man's leather jacket and motorcycle. So to put this power set into perspective, we wanted to go a step beyond the iconic Marvel power grid settings based on what we've seen from Danvers and how she stacks up against Earth's mightiest. And you can see here her infographic: 240,000 in speed, 10 out of 10 combat rating, 3 for intelligence, 4,598,000,000,000,000 tier S. These numbers are hard to imagine, but we calculated in joules or forces of energy, and what we wanted to know was how much energy these heroes withstood in the past. Some more down-to-earth heroes like Ant-Man and Wasp or Scarlet Witch can take a punch just as hard as the rest of us can. When falling, a human being's survival gets dicey at about 20 meters, which would come in at about 17,600 joules of energy before contact. So they rate Scarlet Witch here as just 17,640 plus mutant abilities, with a low-level intelligence and speed, with a durability of 17,640 and a strength of 135. Dwarfed by Black Panther, rating 626,340, tier B, with a durability of 588,000 joules and 800 strength. In every category, Black Panther is more powerful than Scarlet Witch. Then we can see Thor, tier A, with 2 trillion, I believe, energy, with a durability of 3.86 to the 10th power, and strength, obviously, super powered. Receiving a tier A. Iron Man, also very strong. These numbers probably could be weaned down a little bit. They actually rate Captain America as relatively plebeian, with almost no energy ratings and decent durability. Now remember, this is Marvel's website, where they now rank Black Widow tier D, one of the worst Avengers, while allowing Vision to rank in tier B, Hulk in tier S. This is higher than A. Doctor Strange with tier S again. And then, of course, conclusion. Carol Danvers could spar with Hulk, take a beating like Iron Man, blast out energy with the best of them, carrying through space at dizzying speeds, and is Captain America's peer when it comes to running the army. Danvers' competence underscores her toughness and her ability to take a beating and keep going. Her story is compelling not only because she's talented or gifted, and she really is, but because she earns it, standing shoulder to shoulder with the best of them and holding their own against most tenacious threats in the galaxy. Number 1. By Marvel's own words, you rank Carol Danvers as the most strong of all Avengers with an absurd number. What is this? 100,000, million, billion, trillion. I mean, these numbers are hard to imagine. All we need to know is we look at Scarlet Witch, 17,000 plus mutant abilities, and still they give her a tier A. Questionable in my opinion. But then we have Kevin Feige again making headlines and absolutely disrespecting Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, and Brie Larson in one foul swoop, as he has now confirmed. Marvel studio boss Kevin Feige has revealed who he thinks the strongest Marvel Cinematic Universe character is, and it was not Carol Danvers. This goes against, by the way, the chart painstakingly put together by Marvel themselves. Feige has gone on record to say that Captain Marvel was going to be the most powerful character to be introduced on the big screen thus far. While he may have technically been correct at the time, Endgame proved that a new character may be stronger when fueled by anger. During a recent Q&A, Feige was asked who he thought was the most powerful MCU character. For some time, this could be like asking who your favorite child is, but Feige did not dodge the question and dove right in. As for who he chose, it's none other than Wanda Maximoff, aka Scarlet Witch, thanks to a specific scene from Avengers Endgame. Now, if you remember Avengers Endgame, Scarlet Witch essentially went toe-to-toe with the most powerful being, Thanos, and held her own. And you could argue that until he decided to basically decimate his own forces, she was about to get the upper hand, or at least the director gave him for the first time ever, a bit of a look of fear in his eye. The quote goes, I think it's interesting. If you look at Endgame, Wanda was going to end Thanos. If he hadn't desperately, that's as scared as I've ever seen Thanos. And if he hadn't said, decimate my entire team to get her off me, I think she would have done it. Now, is this about hyping up the MCU because we know WandaVision is coming to Disney+? I actually really enjoy the Scarlet Witch character, and I'm looking forward to learning more about her. I'm not sure that, I got gifted a 1-year subscription to Disney Plus via my Verizon subscription. So after that year is up, I'm not sure I consider paying for Disney Plus, but WandaVision is something that I'm interested in seeing. I don't like the name. It sounds like WonkaVision from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but that's neither here nor there. The fan asked Kevin Feige the question, along with the rest of the audience, was very enthusiastic about his answer. In the video, it clearly looks like Feige was going on to give more of an explanation as to why he chose Wanda as the strongest MCU character, but he was cut off. With that being said, all anybody has to do is really go back and look at Avengers Endgame and watch her nearly end Thanos on the battlefield. Wanda Maximoff Jack Mayhofer has proven herself over the course of the time in the MCU, but will all fans agree with Feige's pick for the strongest hero? Joe Russo recently said that he believes Captain Marvel is even stronger than Thor, which is ridiculous, which had fans second-guessing things. Carol Danvers is basically unstoppable, but it seems that Wanda might have the edge, at least according to Feige. Then again, Marvel Studios' boss does have the upcoming WandaVision Disney Plus series to hype up right now. The series will show the character as Scarlet Witch for the first time. And that's what I think this is, ultimately, this is Feige just trying to hype. They said the same thing around when Carol Danvers was there. It's interesting, though, that it's frustrating that they're so willing to fudge the numbers in order to just sell copies of a movie, because Marvel themselves took all this time, to painstakingly put together infographics, which essentially put Scarlet Witch as one of the weakest characters of everyone they profile. In fact, she may be the weakest, second only to Black Widow, all right, and Wasp and Hawkeye. She's worse than Wasp, Hawkeye, and Black Widow. And I'm supposed to believe that she's the most powerful. Now, I saw that act out on the big screen, but then again, it's tough to say because, I'd like to see, if you're like me, you'd like to see some of these matchups play out on the big screen, because there are scenarios where these two might be at odds, and it would be interesting for me to see a superpowered girl fight based in the MCU, Scarlet Witch versus Captain Marvel. Of course, when Captain Marvel 2 comes out, I'm sure Feige will be out there saying, well, actually, I meant that Captain Marvel was the strongest character in MCU history. I'm just willing to disrespect the lore and all the marketing that we did to get you to pay money to see Captain Marvel, so now I'll get you to pay money to see Scarlet Witch. Yes, it's a brilliant marketing tactic, but not one that I think Brie Larson cares for, one that Captain Marvel fans probably wouldn't love, but I suppose it's more acceptable because it's another woman. You wouldn't believe the amount of uproar that you'd probably get if Feige came out and said, no, Thor is more strong than Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel, one of the biggest Mary Sue characters I've ever seen. Although, admittedly, I don't follow her comic book history, so that's probably not super fair to say. Obviously, she has her powers, and just like anybody else here, but it just feels like in the movies, she just burst out of the scene, and if you didn't follow the comics, you weren't really like, oh, this person earned their keep. They did, I've gotten some backstory from them. I suppose unless you paid $15 to go see the standalone movie, which I wasn't going to do because Brie Larson said that movie wasn't for me. Nonetheless, I've got to say I'm shocked and appalled the way that Kevin Feige is tossing around my Princess Brie Larson and Captain Marvel's legacy just to sell Disney Plus subscriptions. Kevin Feige should be absolutely ashamed of himself. For shame.